In his 1936 book, The Sexual Revolution, Reich insisted that what we think are religious yearnings are in fact vegetative function, which man shares with all living nature, and which strives for development, activity, and pleasure in the form of flowing, surging physical sensations. Reich's revolution did not need to fight religion directly, he said. Rather, it just needed to secure what he called, quote, the sexual happiness of the masses. How? Via the findings of modern science. And if we do that, the need for religion, he said, would disappear.
Before we get to our clip, do us a favor and click subscribe and that bell button below. 2/3 of people who watch us regularly aren't yet subscribed, and it really supports the channel when you do subscribe. It's free, costs nothing, and I really appreciate it. So there was just a debate that took place recently between Trent Horn, Lila Rose, a fella called Destiny, and some a porn performer, hey? And I'd recommend you watch it. I wouldn't recommend everyone watch it because it does get into quite, unfortunately, some very visual content, you know, like it's too graphic sometimes. Right. Trent and Lila did masterfully, but it seemed like they were coming at this issue of sex from two different angles, right? Trent and Lila seeing the thing, seeing the beauty and the reality and the veil, and the others just coming at it from this atheistic worldview. Yes. And when you come at it from this atheistic worldview, yeah, you got nothing. Because Lila and Trent were able to get these two unfortunate people to concede in their worldview the legitimacy of animated child rape porn.
Oh my.
Bestiality.
Dear God.
At one point, Destiny said to Trent, so you're saying it's... What did he say? You're saying it's worse to eat an animal than have sex with it? He's like, yes, that is what I'm saying. Right, so bestiality, incest. They had to concede incest, and they had to concede the fact that it might very well be a good thing that a 12-year-old girl be exposed to like violent pornography. Like, and it's like when you get your opponents to concede these things, you win.
Yes.
But they're being perfectly consistent from their insane false worldview.
Yes.
But again, I think that is it a sacrament or isn't it? So it's like if we don't see sex rightly, if we don't see the world rightly.
Yeah, and here, just to make a theological distinction, we have to distinguish between capital S sacraments, there's 7 of them, and small s sacramentality. And by that, the whole world that God created reveals something of the mystery of the Creator. That's what we mean by having a sacramental worldview. Right? I call the little show that I do on the Theology of the Body Institute YouTube channel, I call it the sacramental lens, because I want to teach people to see the whole world with a sacramental lens, right? To see the world this way. This is the Christian life. And you're putting your finger exactly on it, Matt. When you have these two different starting points, you're going to see the world very differently. And you're kind of bringing us right to the crux of what I argue here. Can I pull some stuff out of here? I discovered this in a lecture. A guy, I think his name's not John Lanzelotti. His last name's Carlos Lanzelotti. I forget his actual name, but he was quoting from Wilhelm Reich. And Wilhelm Reich wrote a book called The Sexual Revolution in 1936. And it really is telling. I went back, I found this book, I did some research, and I dug in a little deeper. Listen to this. This is chilling. In his 1936 book, The Sexual Revolution, Wilhelm Reich, that's spelled R-E-I-C-H, stated quite explicitly that the goal of the revolution he wanted to inspire was to replace the religious sense of eros. We've talked about this already. What's the religious sense? That ache you feel for union is ultimately a desire for union with God. It's a religious longing. It's a longing for God, right? So Wilhelm Reich wanted to replace this religious sense of eros as a desire for the infinite with the scientific view that erotic stirrings are merely, this is a quote, physical excitations that come from bioelectric processes in the tissues of the body. So where do we go if that's our starting point? Indeed, I say, Reich insisted that what we think are religious yearnings, what we've been calling the ache or the cry of the heart or that O antiphon or eros, rightly understood, Reich insisted that what we think are religious yearnings are in fact, quote, a vegetative function, which man shares with all living nature and which strives for development, activity, and pleasure in the form of flowing, surging physical sensations. End quote. Reich's revolution did not need to fight religion directly, he said. Rather, it just needed to secure what he called, quote, the sexual happiness of the masses. How? Via the findings of modern science. And if we do that, the need for religion, he said, would disappear. See, what he's saying is, all you really want when you feel those stirrings is physical sensations in your tissues.
Isn't this Freud to an extent?
This is Freud. Yes.
Well, religion is a substitute for sex.
There are Freudian undertones and overtones, without a doubt. But Reich foresaw that if we loose erotic fulfillment from the religious longing, and merely provide unfettered indulgence in the pleasures of this world, he said we will be able to prove
that religion isn't necessary.
Religion isn't necessary.
Yeah. Decent hypothesis, disastrous consequences.
Disastrous consequences. And he foresaw them. Listen to this.
This fella who wanted this to happen foresaw the negative consequences?
Listen to what he says. There will be just one problem with this approach to sexual happiness. In the process of attaining it, as Reich himself unapologetically acknowledged, this is a direct quote, the family will disintegrate irrevocably.
Other than that, though.
Other than that, everything will be great.
I want to tell you about a course that I have created for men to overcome pornography. It is called strive21.com/Matt. You go there right now, or if you text STRIVE to 66866, we'll send you the link. It's 100% free, and it's a course I've created to help men, to give them the tools to overcome pornography. Usually men know that porn is wrong. They don't need me or you to convince them that it's wrong. What they need is a battle plan to get out. And so I've distilled all that I've learned over the last 15 or so years as I've been talking and writing on this topic into this one course. Think of it as if you and I could have a coffee over the next 21 days and I would kind of guide you along this journey. That's basically what this is. It's incredibly well produced. We had a whole camera crew come and film this. And I think it'll be a real help to you. And it's also not an isolated course that you go through on your own, because literally tens of thousands of men have now gone through this course. And as you go through the different videos, there's comments from men all around the world encouraging each other, offering to be each other's accountability partners and things like that. Strive21, that's strive21.com/Matt, or as I say, text STRIVE to 66866 to get started today. You won't regret it.